Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's Krista, Krista's Creative Chaos. I hope you guys are doing good today. Yes, I have 1,000,001 projects to be doing, but guess what came to my mind this morning? Do you guys ever just scroll like art sites or supply sites and then you get a bug in your bonnet that you need a new art supply? So I do. I do it all the time. As can be witnessed by the number of watercolor sets sitting on my desk right now. These are all watercolors. So I just thought to myself this morning, I was like, wait a minute, because I was getting ready to purchase a watercolor set. And then I thought, because I was like, I want to compare like all these different sets. And then I thought, wait a minute, you have 2 boxes, like little shoebox type things of different watercolor sets, Krista. And it seems like when I get them, I do this. I swatch them. Let me see if I can get this open. I end up swatching them on a card like this, and I stick it in with the watercolor set. Well, I have a swatch book. I have a swatch book here that I also swatch things in. You know what? I forgot. I didn't grab my other phone so that I can see if anybody's commenting. 1 second. Okay. The other day I could see it on my actual device. Okay, let me see here. So this video will be on my YouTube channel at Krista's Creative Chaos later today as well. This is going to be a great one to kind of listen to while you're swatching your own paints or working on a project, that kind of thing. Because I'm going to give you a lot of information and I'm hoping it's going to be helpful. I am going to give you some controversial tips about purchasing paints and where to purchase them from. And I'm going to sound a little bit like I'm a smarty pants in a couple of things I'm going to tell you, because I think I am. I think I have found a way to save a ton of money on watercolors and specialty watercolors. Now, if you are somebody who sells your art, you're probably not in this group, first of all, but like high-end fine art. And those people, for the prices they're selling their art for, they need to know 100% that their paints are proven over 100 years not to fade and things like that, right? Most of us, we just want it to last our lifetime, right? So I'm going to give you guys some tips. And then I'm also going to give you some hacks on where I've been getting some amazing paints for some amazing price points. None of this $150 for a little palette of watercolors or $75 for a tray of paints, which I've also bought. Not the 100 and whatever, but the $75 ones I sure have. And I'm really mad because I think I found out what those paints really are. So we're going to get into all that. Okay, so first of all, hi, I'm Krista. I hope you guys are in my Facebook group. If you want to be able to interact in swaps with me, if you want to be able to interact with a great community of people who are uplifting and constructive and just your cheerleaders, that's Krista's Creative Chaos with a CH on Facebook. Or on my YouTube channel is a great way to just watch and listen. On the YouTube, you can't participate in art swaps or artist trading card swaps or any other art challenges that we have, but you can get some great tips and videos. So it just kind of depends on what you're looking for. So I'm just going to pull this up here really quick so I can see comments, because for some reason, we've had this discussion before. If you're in my group, I can't see them on here. So, one other thing, if you are on my YouTube watching this, if you could like and subscribe, that would be amazing. Okay, let's go here. But I'm going to show you my swatch book. Then we're going to talk about watercolor. Well, we're going to talk about Jane Davenport layer cakes, and we are going to talk about, in that type of paint, we are going to talk about the Derwent. What do they call these? Darn it, it doesn't tell me on the inside, but they have these special paints like this. We're going to talk about these, and we're going to talk about regular watercolors, okay? I'm going to have to look up what the Derwent name is. Hang on, let me look that up really quick, because I cut the boxes up because they were so pretty. Let's see, Derwent. I hope you guys are doing good this morning. They are colored. Here it is. They are called, what are they called? it's a particular, they're calling their watercolor a certain type of watercolor. And oh boy, do I have something to show you about that too. Because I paid $25 for each one of these from Dick Blick. But I want to show you this. Let's see here. Why don't I ever just save the boxes? Here we go, description. Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm so sorry. Let's see here. Bear with me. Good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are watching this. This just wants to take forever. Here we go. Light, fast, blah, 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 blah. Well, this isn't going to tell me. What is this one called? Oh, and I didn't write it on the paper either. You guys, this is bad. Let's see here. And this is all going to be helpful, and it's all going to help you. It's going to give you things to think about. Let's put it that way. Ink Tints. So these are like the Derwent's Ink Tints paint pans. And what do they... I want to see... What was the Derwent? We'll type in pastel because I know that's what this other one is called. Here they are. And they're $40 at Michael's. I'm just going to point out where I'm going with this video is when you buy a paint product, when you buy any art product. So you guys know, a lot of you know, I used to have a women's boutique selling clothes and things like that. So I can't remember what they call it, you guys, but these paints, Derwent paints, they don't call them a regular watercolor. And of course, in this description, it's not going to tell me for some reason. Let me see. It's told on the actual box. What is this? Of course, I cut up the boxes yesterday. It's like an opaque watercolor, but there's another word for it too. But anyway, I digress. So we're just going to pretend we found the information we needed. But they're expensive. They're really expensive. Even at Dick Blick, they were $25. At Michael's, it says they're $40. And this is what the paint set looks like. I mean, shoot, the paints don't even want to stay in their little things. They aren't even stuck down. So, and they came with a little water brush, which was nice, but most people don't use water brushes to use their stuff. And this here was $25 at Dick Blick. They're $40 at Michael's. When you try a new paint or something, a lot of people are like, oh, I really want that whatever brand paints, right? Because you've heard so much about them and whatever. Well, that's the brand's job, is to promote their product and to advertise. And anytime you see advertisements for a particular paint brand or something, just know you're paying for those advertisements when you purchase their product. You're paying for the pretty packaging. All that adds bumps up the price of the supply, right? Whether it's yarn, whether it's paint, whether it's collage materials, whatever. If it's a branded thing, then it's going to be, the price is going to be more expensive than unbranded. A lot of people know that, but a lot of people don't think about it like that when they are looking at art stuff, okay? So, I have this paint swatch book. And as I was looking, and so I swatch sets of paints and markers and other things like that when I get them. And then I write at the top what it is. And so when I want to work on a project, sometimes I will flip through here to decide what set I want to use or what medium, or if I'm like in the middle of a project and I'm like, no, I need a brown that's got a little bit of a green undertone. I can look through here and find it quickly instead of trying to pull out a million art supplies, right? So something I wasn't doing in here, I started to swatch my watercolors in here. Like these are watercolors. And see, this says floral metal tin, because this is a set of watercolors that I got from a friend in a art supply haul. She was moving and she couldn't take them to her new place, and I bought them from her, and so I swatched it like that, but that tells me what tin it is. This one says like 20-piece watercolor set and tells me where I bought it, and then it says in small clear plastic case. I know that sounds crazy, but then I can go and I can look, and I know this is that 20-piece set, 20 watercolors. Yes, there's 20 watercolors in this tiny little set. But normally what I've been doing after that, I only swatched a couple of watercolor sets because this is regular notebook paper. I started swatching them and sticking them in the watercolor set. But so today, when I got online and I thought, I'm going to buy a bunch of watercolors and I'm going to test them against each other, because of somebody that I like to follow on Instagram. She has been doing a lot of work on black watercolor paper, which I do have and I've never tried. And I thought, I need to swatch the ones I already have on the black, because maybe I already have these colors like what I'm looking at right now, and I just don't know because I've never put it on black paper. And I will tell you, when you test your paints on white and black, huge difference. So you really should swatch them on both if you ever plan on using black paper. And even if you don't plan on using black paper, it can produce some really, really cool effects that you never even knew were in your toolbox because you've never swatched them. So yes, I realized all these paints here have not been swatched in this book. And I want a swatch of it in this book, but at the same time, I also want, for my watercolors, I like to have the swatch within the case. So I'm going to be swatching them. I thought, I'm going to do this today. It's going to be my nice little calming activity today. Because sometimes when we want to be creative, but we don't know what we want to create, or we just don't want to work on the projects we have out, we can swatching. Swatching is very, it helps your nervous system. I feel like it helps your vagus nerve. I feel like it just helps calm your body. So I just got out a big piece of watercolor paper, and I am going, it's a nice quality one. I've got my black watercolor book here because I want to swatch some on here as well. Just certain sets I want to swatch on there, my metallic sets. Because I did, like I said, I did start to put some in here. Can you see the shine, the amazing metallic shine on this particular set that I swatched? And that's on notebook paper, you guys. Most watercolors turn out like this. This is the gold. You guys, I paid probably 8 times as much for this set than I did for the set I just showed you that had that amazing metallic sheen on it. And so this one here, I probably paid 8 times more for that other set. It doesn't even shine when I show it to you. Now, oh my gosh, yes, I'm live. What's going on?
Okay, I'm just gonna see if you need anything.
Nope, I don't, but thank you. Honey's checking on me. So anyway, so just know, if you have a source to buy unbranded art supplies, you can save a ton of money, okay? Also, start paying attention to how the art supply goes on to the paper. I like to analyze my art supplies. I don't even know I'm doing it. But so since I had a women's boutique and I was reselling, you know, I would buy wholesale and then sell them for double what I paid for them. So if I bought something for $20, I sold it for $40. If I bought something for $35, I sold it for $70. And that's how retail works. Some retail locations charge 100% markup, or they charge 200% markup. It just depends. You know, when you get into like luxury brands and things like that, you're really, really paying top dollar because you're paying for the name. So same thing with art supplies. I got these Derwents, right? Because we were at Dick Blick. We took my best friend and I took a field trip to Seattle. I'd never been to a Dick Blick. I heard that they have every art supply. Funny thing is she was shocked I wanted to go there. She was like, I've been there. It's kind of underwhelming. And I'm like, what? What? No. Because on the Michaels website, if you go to buy paints and stuff, almost always Dick Blick will show up as somewhere where you can get it for cheaper. It has to be shipped to you. But then we have one here in Seattle. And I'd never been. So we took a little field trip and she took me there. And I get what she was saying. The art supplies didn't seem to be so much cheaper. Now, their golden paints and things like that in tubes were a lot cheaper, which was nice. I wasn't in the market for any today or when we went, but I did buy these. And these, of course, were $25 a piece. I wasn't too happy about that because I don't like to pay $25 for a set of paints. They had a sample thing out in the aisle with this brush and sample paper that I could test. And I did buy this brush for travel because I thought it was awesome. And I liked that they had a sample station where I could sample the paints. And that's how come I ended up buying too. Plus I wanted to support the store because I was there and I was having fun looking at everything, because it's just something like, it's kind of like when you go, if you love candy and you go to a candy store, there's just something about the novelty of the specialty candies all being in one store, right? And so I like to support that. Kind of like Jane Davenport when I bought these paints. I love Jane Davenport. I love her whole vibe. I own so many of her stamps and her die cuts and her paints and her layer cakes and things like that. And so I do like to support the artist. But she's in Australia, so I have to pay a lot of shipping to get her products sent to me when I order them directly from her. And the other thing was I ordered this set from her, and this is the set that I was showing you that I swatched, that I thought the gold would be an amazing gold because she's all about mermaids and things. Now, granted, this is not on watercolor paper, and I still need to swatch them on watercolor paper. But you guys, this gold is not even like a metallic-y gold. Maybe it's not supposed to be, but there is a little bit of metallic in there, just a little bit. And that's the other thing you want to do when you swatch paints. You want to see if it rubs off, because quality paints don't rub off. So, that didn't swatch as well as, say, look at all the amazing golds in this set. This is a set that I got from Temu. I know I talk about Temu a lot. But you guys, it's because it comes in this clear case. There's no branding on it. It's a clear little plastic case. But I can pay for some of these watercolor places that they say they make their own watercolors, and they probably do and whatever. But their colors are no better than these, in my opinion. There's some that are color shifting, but Temu has some of those as well. I haven't tried them. Well, maybe I have. I might even have some in here. We're going to find out because we're going to swatch them. But so I'm just saying, if you are trying to not break the bank but still have some super fun supplies, you can. You can, okay? Here's another set that I swatched in this book. I told you this is the set that that my friend, she said they were actually her mom's paints and they were in her art supplies. Her mom had made her a kit. And this gold is amazing. Now, these got just squeezed into pans in this. I'll show you. This is when, you know, because this is when you know, like, the artist really is an artisan when they're creating their own paint kits. So this is how that set that I just showed you. And this gold down here is amazing. So they're squeezed into these empty pans, and she made her own travel art set. And then I have it swatched in here. So they came out of tubes. So unfortunately, I don't know what brand these are, and she didn't know either. And her mom couldn't remember. But so I'm guessing these are probably like watercolor paints that came in tubes that her mom invested in, right? Because if you really get into watercolor, buying watercolors in the tubes, your money goes a lot further than buying pans or buying pre-done pans, because you can get this double, triple, quadruple the watercolor, because one little tube will fill up probably 4 pans versus just paying for 1 pan. So that's another thing. If you find a color that you love, go buy a tube of it. If you're going to use it, okay? I'm going to, let's see here. So I wanted to show you the difference between that. But this one I paid $40 for, I think, plus shipping from Australia. Actually, I ordered enough stuff and then I got free shipping, but I could have paid $20, $25 of shipping. And then this one from Temu, I'm going to guess $10 or less. Okay. So, and whether everybody, Temu can be controversial. I understand that for some people. That's up to you. But for me, I do buy stuff from there. I'm just going to put that out there. And so that's just me. Okay, so I want to talk about these other paints. I started to, and then I got away from it. So when I swatched these, then I brought them home and I swatched them at home. And as I was using them at home, I thought, this consistency, and this is what they're a very flat, very chalky type of a thing. I was swatching them and I started going, this feels familiar. And it kind of was in my head when I was at Dick Blick, but I couldn't place it. Got home, started rifling through my little buckets of watercolor paints. You guys, I have very similar. Now these are done on watercolor paper. Was this done on watercolor paper? Let me see. No, this was just done on cardstock. So, and there's a huge difference too if you swatch on cardstock versus if you swatch on watercolor paper. So let me pull. And this one, the little swatches, and then we'll have to swatch them. And these are metallics, and then these are flats. But the consistency of the two of these paints, we're gonna let me find a flat one and I'll show you, is so similar. It's crazy. I'm like, it has to be the same. Has to be. So those, these are flats in here, I believe. Yeah, they are. So just look at the paints. Just even looking. Okay, just even look at this. You see how much that pink and that orange, look, the chalkiness of it. You guys, it's like the same thing. It's like the same thing. And I probably paid $8 for this, $25 for this. And these are, yes, these will come out just as easily as this. But actually, let me see something. And see, look at these, don't even fall out of their paint pan. This one, every single time I open it up, they're popping out of their paint pans. Oh, this one did. It's probably the same darn thing, right? That just got a brand name put on it and put in a brand name tin and then in a brand name packaging. And then they had to put it in a store and pay for the end cap at the store and the little sample station. And so all of that added up to me paying $40 or $25 to $40 for this, depending upon where you buy it. Dick Blick, 25. I think it was 25. Maybe it was 40. Michael's is 40. So I just want to get you thinking when you're buying your paint supplies and things, especially if you're a hobbyist like me and you don't need things that are going to last 100 years. Because once I'm dead and gone, if my stuff doesn't last, I won't even know. It'll be okay. I'm not selling paintings for thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of dollars. Maybe if I got into that, maybe then I would want to invest in paints that I knew were going to last that long. But honestly, anything I make is pretty much going to last my lifetime and theirs. So just start noticing the consistency. And if anybody wants links for any of these, like if you're like, oh, I have those and I love those paints, I would love to know a cheaper alternative. Let me know. And I can send you the links for the things I bought. Like these are some metallic greens. Look at how awesome. Can you see that? Let me take that paper out of there. Look at how awesome those shine. They're so good. And when you see the videos where they're putting down the watercolor and it's just sparkling. Once it dries, it's going to be like this. I mean, think about it as long as the water is what's causing the movement. But these are the best metallic paints I've ever had, and they're all from there. And this is not a Temu commercial, but this is you can get things cheaper insight for you, okay? And cheaper isn't always what everybody's looking for. Again, like I said, I buy a ton of stuff from Jane Davenport because I love her and I want to support her business. But I've spent probably $500 with Jane Davenport this year alone, just directly from her. And she formulates her own paints and her own things. But you guys, you know, the layer cakes, who knows about the layer cakes? Does anybody own Jane Davenport layer cakes? I'm in love with them, but I will show you something. If you don't know what the Jane Davenport layer cakes are. So for instance, these are Jane Davenport paint pebbles. Now these are little tiny pigments. They come in a little bottle and they're hard. They're dried. They look like seashells and different things. And you have to add the water and add the guar gum and get them mixed up and wait a day or two for it to settle and dry to get your own paints. I wanted to do it. I thought it would be fun. And she marketed right to my personality. They come with little tiny seashells that you put it in. And I had to buy the guar gum separately. I think that's what it's called. Or drawing gum. Maybe I'm mixing the food one with the art one. Anyway, but the little seashells, come on, who doesn't need seashells to store their watercolors in? I do. you've ever watched any of my stuff, you know that's right up my alley. It's my jam. But these colors are really cool. These watercolors I really liked. I was happy with these. But they're still not as vibrant as the other ones I showed you, are they? But they're fun. And the seashells are fun and adorable. And I will show you. I will show you the seashells. And I stuck them down with my little sticky. So I stuck them in this little thing. But look at those little seashells. It goes with her whole mermaidy vibe. She has a whole, so much she does is focused on mermaids. So, but you can bet your bottom dollar I paid pretty penny just to get these little seashells to put the little pigments in. Okay? And then I had lots of fun making them. I had lots of fun making them and doing that. And so that was cool, and it was worth it to me. Oh, I was going to grab one of my layer cakes because I want to show you guys what they look like. And then I'm going to show you this other thing, and you guys are going to be shocked at what the dupe is. Okay, here's a layer cake palette, how it comes. It comes like this. It's very substantial to hold. And she's got her branding on there. And then you open it up. And this is something I didn't like, though, as they come out. Now, I'm sure for her, she thinks that's awesome because then and a lot of people like to be able to take the paints out. Now, me, I'm worried about losing them. And then the other thing I didn't like is they're all capped individually. So you have to go in and uncap them, and then the name is not on it anymore. And the stickers for the names come separately. So if I were to do this again, I would have put the name sticker down here so I could see it once I took the cap off. But I wasn't that smart when I did it the first time because it was the first time. So now I line the caps up at the top so I know what color I'm dealing with in case somebody asks me. So these are her layer cakes. I was using her layer cakes and loving them. And you pay like $75 or between $50 and $75 for one of these because it's an Australian to US dollar thing plus shipping, right? So that was one of those I'm treating myself things. And I have them in here, and I wanted to show you. Here they are. So, the metallic layer cakes, when I rub my finger on it, this is what happens. So, you have to seal the layer cakes, okay? And if you guys want to, you guys can feel free to comment if you want. If anybody owns layer cakes, I'm just curious. I might be the only one that that's really got her stuff. And even the solids, you have to seal her layer cakes or they rub off. My brain started working on that. I love the consistency. It almost feels like you're frosting a cake, and not at the fluffy part of the cake, but you're frosting the very top of the cake at first. Layer cakes. I mean, it's a perfect description. You guys, my brain started going. She says she works, she makes her own paints and designs her own colors and everything else. Most artists who have their own paint lines and things, these paints are coming from somewhere like a Temu. They're coming from somewhere in China, usually, not always. Most of her stuff says, her stamps, I know, say they were made in the UK. I don't know where her layer cakes are actually made. But I want to say what is this? Made in China. Okay? What goes through my mind is, so these artists, they get a hold of these factories that make the art stuff, and they tell them what they want. And it's just like I have a friend who she has her own makeup line, right? Again, called China. Got in touch with one of their factories. They have special people, and I know all this from having my women's boutique, because there was a time when I considered carrying my own clothes with my own branding tags on them, right? And they will talk with you. They will find out what you want. They will send you the samples. They will make the tags. They will have them put on the clothes. It's just like when you get into a certain like women's boutique of clothing that starts running through your feed, and then all of a sudden you're seeing boom, 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 5, 6 different boutiques selling the same shirt but with different tags on it. Okay? Art supplies are the exact same way. Now, like I said, there are fine art supplies that sometimes they're super pigmented, and they swear to be archival for 500 years and whatever. And if that's what you need, you shop those brands and you can pay those dollars because you can afford to pay those dollars because you're selling your paintings for $10,000, $20,000 a piece or whatever. Okay. Look at my room. I have a craft studio, arts and crafts studio. You guys, I knew this was the deal. I was so not irritated. Again, I like to support my favorite artists, and because that's what helps them do their thing, right? But in my head, I knew the second I knew when I was waiting for them to be delivered. I had a huge gut feeling of what these layer cakes were made out of, but I had to buy them because I had never tried them, and I'm like, that cannot be. It cannot, because I watched her demo them, and I was like, and her thing is they're like a watercolor. What does it say on there? Layer cake paint, but it says to use water, but don't add too much water, and then you have to allow them to dry before you put them away. What do you think the dupe is? You guys want to know? Do you guys want to know? For $10, there's a $10 dupe. Could be less than $10, depending upon what you find. If you go to Temu, and you can go to a Michael's or a place like that and also find a dupe that's going to be more expensive just because once it's in the U.S. it costs more. Face paint. Face paints. And you want to know how I figured this out? Because if you look at them, look at the grids on them. Can you see the little tiny pattern that is stamped into them? It's because of the type of paint it is. There's almost like a waffle grid. Let me see if I can get it to focus. Like, look at the pink one. It's easier to see. There's almost like a waffly grid stamped into them. There are in the solid layer cakes as well, not the metallic ones. But and with face paints, you don't put on too much water either. But how they rub off, face paint rubs off with water, right? That's why your kids look all melty after a while. So, is this one not going to work? Oh, how does this work? This is a new spray bottle to me. I need a different spray bottle. This one's not going to work. But so you just I just use this is a mister one. It doesn't come out in a big stream. It comes out in a mist, and they're perfect for doing like the face paints and the layer cakes. But I want to show you something. So, and then you let it sit there. But with these, you don't really have to let it sit there too much. So, I mean, look at how it goes on so easy. And this is notebook paper. And they're vibrant and fun. Now, these you have to seal as well. You guys want to know what the seal dupe is? For instead of buying some paint sealer that is going to gag you and give you brain cancer and everything else, and you're going to have to wear the respirator and all that. Yeah, I'm not joking. It works. Go to the dollar store, and whatever hairspray they happen to have that's aerosol, you will spray that. So I won't use this page because that one's still drying. But let me go over here to the Jane Davenport Layer Cakes page. Here we go. So this one, remember I just rubbed this off on my finger. There's the blue. So I'm just going to spray some of this on here. It's hairspray. We all spray it in our bathrooms, right? Yes, you could spray it outside if you don't want the smell. And then I just let that dry. Let's turn on my fan and let it dry. Hang on 1 second. You guys with me? Comment, like, heart, thumbs up. Lets me know that you guys are here, you're with me, you're interested in what I'm telling you. Makes me feel like I'm not talking to myself. Okay. That's starting to still a little wet. Dum, bum, bum. Got the dry time. And no, I don't hit pause and dry it and then come back. I'm not that person. This is you get to look at all the stuff in my art room, and which is a mess right now. I need to take a half a day and get it cleaned back up. Problem is it's kind of like when sorting through like memorabilia stuff or trying to get rid of boxes out of the attic and whatever. You start with ADHD, you start looking through it, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, and then you sit there and you go down this bunny trail with looking at things and books and whatever for the rest of the day. I do the same thing when I put away my art supplies that end up on the guest bed here, because all of a sudden the day's gone and I haven't gotten anything put away because I started creating with something I found or got an idea. Or so yes. So let's see here. So now it's not really coming off like it was. I would probably put one more coat of hairspray on this. that's all you need for sealer, okay? Try and get one that's unscented, you know. I didn't think about that when I bought them, so my stuff will smell pretty, a little pretty. It'll go away eventually, but that's a cheap art sealer for you, okay? And once it fully dries, it will be even better, because I have sealed cards and things like that. What you don't want to do is you don't want to seal cards with hairspray that does have a scent to it and then stick them like in a penny sleeve or something. I always say sit it out in the sun for, now sun will fade color, but you can set it out in the sun for like a half an hour or so and it should kill the smell, okay? Did you guys know that sun kills bacteria? Did you know that? The natural sunlight kills bacteria and smells and things like that. So yeah, face paint, you guys. Face paint. It's amazing. If you want to get a similar effect of the layer cakes without having to spend the price tag on the layer cakes. But you know, if you want to do layer cakes like I did, awesome, go for it. They're beautiful. The packaging is beautiful. You get to support Jane. You get to do the whole thing. And her paints might have more in it than layer cakes, but I can tell you the way they finish is exactly like my layer cake pans. She may have some little things she's got mixed in here, but whatever she's got in her paints is not making them permanent on the page. You know, like I said, stuff is still lifting, pigment is still lifting, but these are super pigmented. And I got this whole thing for probably $10 or less. I want to say this was around $10, maybe even $12, but not $75, right? So that's a dupe for you. Let's see here. If you like that, tell me that you're finding tell me you're finding this to be good information, and then I can show you more. I'm trying to decide if I should show more right now or if I should make a different video. So that's a dupe for the layer cakes. That's a dupe for setting spray. That is a dupe for Derwent's. That, now we can really get into the watercolors, but I need to know, I wonder if I should make the actual watercolors, if I should make a different video for that. I will tell you some watercolors that I think are worth their salt, and I have not found a dupe for. These Horadam aquarels, the ones with the granulations in them, they are amazing. They are expensive. They are tiny. This is how big. This is how big this tube is. You guys, it's as big as my thumb and not as wide as my thumb. Maybe as big as my pinky. I bet it's like my pinky. Yeah, look at that. It's like my pinky. So, there's 3 colors in this little box that was probably $50. And I got it off of eBay, I believe. But these paints are so cool. So, some things are worth it. And there aren't dupes out there, or not one that I found yet. Doesn't mean I'm not looking. But yeah, just telling you to let your brain be like when you're putting things onto the paper, paints and things, ask yourself, like, what's this consistency like? And maybe that comes from, like I said, part of this comes from me having a retail boutique, so I'm buying wholesale, and having that insider knowledge and knowing how many people are getting the same darn things from those factories in China and how amazing they are set up. If you want to start producing your own line of whatever, I mean, you get your own special rep, and they will call you and they talk to you and they walk you through the whole process and everything else. Especially the more money you want to spend and the more products you want to do. They've got that down to a T. But if you don't have the insider knowledge, it might not even occur to you that other people are selling the same darn thing in a different package. So, and especially this past year with all of the changes and things, we're not going to get into all of that. But China has really busted the lid off of the products that they resell and not caring that they're reselling. I'm sure they have agreements with these people not to resell them, but they sure are. So, you know, it is what it is. So, okay. Like this set of watercolors here, this is 72. This got 72 in it. And this is how big it is. So, as big as my face. So this is my hand on top of it. So, you know, probably 2 hands worth. But they don't fall out. They're stuck in here. I mean, I can pry them up, but they have done like a Tombow glue line down to stick them down. But I want to show you how cool these are. So I just swatched them on here, and I'm getting ready to swatch them on other paper, going to swatch it on other watercolor paper, kind of like this, and then stick it in my book like this. So I will have it as a resource in my book. Because like I said, right now my watercolors are not all swatched, nor are they in my book. But so look at how awesome these colors are, you guys. Can you see how good the metallics are? Look at those golds. So many shades of gold. And I was getting ready to bite the bullet and buy a thing of 6 golds or something from a person on Etsy. She pours her own and does her own thing. But she charges like $125 or something for them. And I'm like, you do not need paints that are that expensive. You don't use them enough. Because I like to use all the things. And then, like I said today when I was getting ready, I was putting some things in a cart. And I'm like, I bet I have those. I bet I just have them in an unbranded. And sure enough, when I came in and I started looking at my swatch cards. And so now I'm going to try them on the black and see how that turns out. So, again, let me know if you like these types of videos. I don't know if they are helpful to you or not. Some people, they're not helpful to because they don't buy these types of things. Other people love these videos. It just depends. But I always try to gauge where I should be spending my time making content. I want to show you something that I bought off of Etsy that was not worth its salt, in my opinion. So, these paints I got, they come like this. I stuck little magnets, I bought little magnets and put them on the bottom because I knew they were going to go in this metal tin that I had that had stickers in it at one point. It came like this. So save tins and things like that because they're perfect for putting these types of things in. And they sent me some dots of color too, which were this is a lot of paint. That's like almost like one of these pans. But this gal does her own paints, mixes up her own, and these were what she called her ugly pans because you can see like they were overfilled or got a pucker in the top or whatever, or they were really not flat on the top. So she didn't sell these in her. It was a grab bag, and I like a good grab bag. I don't know about you guys, but I like a good grab bag. So I swatched them. And her ones that are metallic, she has these ones that have glitter in them. But the glitter literally comes off when you rub it. I wasn't too happy about that. I was thinking they were metallics. I wasn't thinking that they actually had actual glitter in them. And then I don't like when I touch an art project and my hands come away messy after it's dry. So, and then these are the other ones. If you like this look, I'm happy to give you the link to it. And see, like I wrote, this is one of the dots. This is one of the dots. This is one of the dots. And these are the dots. So, but it was fun to get a grab bag. And it was fun to support an artist who is pouring her own paints and experimenting in that way. But these, obviously not highly pigmented, nothing to write home about. These are something that I will probably hang on to. And one day we'll hand them to my grandchild. God, please bless us with a grandchild at some point. Maybe somebody should get married first. I don't know. You know, be in those kind of talks, I suppose, before they're thinking about kids. But, and because I've got all these things that I always think, oh, my grandkids can use that. I have no grandkids. There's no grandkids on the way. There's nobody even talking about a wedding. So, but I can continue to hope and dream. Anyway, so that's where these will go someday. Although they aren't exactly a grandkid price point, but as far as quality, I'm probably not going to create a lot of things with those because I won't be happy with how the end product turns out. Now here's another set. I got these at Michael's. They're koi watercolors. Got them at I got these on eBay. I saw them at Michael's. I did end up buying these on eBay, I believe, brand new. And I swatched these. And I love this pink. And I love these neon ones down here as well. But these are again, the pigments on the rest of the paints, though, in the pan, there's like a couple that are like bam, 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 like the neon-y ones that I love. But the other ones, if you look at them, you can almost see the paper through. And this is watercolor paper, just wasn't super pigmented, which I expected more from. But koi, because koi is not cheap. It's in middle of the road, but it comes in this case. And then they have this little painter palette that pops out. So you can mix your paints on, and then it comes with a water brush and the sponges. If it comes with a water brush and sponges, they are trying to convince you that this kit is worth it. Just like the Derwent paints came with a water brush. Those water brushes cost them like $1. Okay, these little sponge things on the edge, are they nice to get wet and then wipe your brush off on? Yeah. But these paints were just, I mean, they were even underwhelming in the pan. They just did not give me what I was looking for. So Koi is not a brand I will ever buy again. So this is, again, one that I'm sure my grandkids will end up playing with someday. Although I will tell you, the Crayola watercolors, they put out a way better color. Except for those few on here that popped. But Crayola watercolors are actually really decent, just so you know. I do have some. I don't think I have them. Oh, I probably have them here. I'm sure you guys have seen the Crayola watercolors, right? So you know what I'm talking about. I have... Yeah, you can see I've used my Crayolas a lot. The thing with the Crayola watercolors is there's a lot of white in them. Like, you can kind of see it, actually. So when you wet these, you really kind of have to mix them up with a brush. But these are fun for just kind of hobby art. And then Michaels makes a brand called Artist Loft. And these are the Artist Loft colors. I mean, to me, they're way more pigmented than the ones I just showed you. It doesn't, these are a more chalky paint, and so they dry a little flatter, but still, they still have really decent pigment in it. So these are all good and cheap. Okay, Crayola is really cheap. Artist Loft is the next cheapest. And then Artist Loft also makes metallics. So this is just kind of a watercolor paint review, I guess, is mostly what it is. So these are the metallics of theirs. And these are a pastel metallic. But they turned out real nice, too. I was really happy with those. I will tell you, these pans are deceiving. Because you think you're getting this huge... Oh, look at the big square of paint. You guys, look at how shallow. You can't even see it. This is not a tall pan at all. So there's really not a lot of paint in there. Now, watercolor goes really far. And it does come with a brush. Watercolor goes real far as you don't need a lot of paint. This is a different one. But I want to say this is also Artist Loft. Yes, I've tried it all. I've been doing art stuff for years and years and years. And collecting supplies is one of my hobbies. But so this is a different metallics. Very similar, but different. But so if you're looking for, like, I love this particular blue that they have. You will find that to be true. You will find that when you buy different types of paints and things, you'll find that you love, oh, I love the blue from this set and I love the gold from that set. And that's pretty common if you're somebody like me who messes around with different paints. Now, I will tell you, I think the best bang for your buck for metallic paints is going to be a set like this. See, this is yet another set that was in there that I mean, look at the pigment on here. It is so good. And the metallic of it. Can you see the metallics really sparkling there? So, the is a set like this from Temu if you want a really good metallic set. And if you want a good set of paints that have the regular colors in them and have some metallics, these Mei Lang paints, these are this is a really good paint set. Now, my lid fell off, so I wasn't happy about that. My husband and I have been trying to figure out how to get that back on. I'm probably just going to use a piece of packing tape on the back that will then do this. But they come with this swatch card, and you can look at, they're nice and vibrant. And these are awesome. They usually come with a water pen as well. And it's called Mei Liang. And I like that you can mix the colors in the lid, and then you just wash this off later, But this one has one strip is metallics, and the other 3 strips are solids. So if you are looking for a nice, and it has this ring holder on the bottom, so you can hold it like this if you're painting on a canvas. Hi, honey. And so this is a really good, if you only have so much money to invest. I want to say this was under $40. Pretty sure it was, I want to say around 25, but I could be wrong because I bought mine a few years ago. And these go a long ways. But if I'm like going somewhere and I want to take some metallics and whatever, I will take one of these sets with me usually rather than a whole bunch of these. But I might take this, and then I might also bring like a little set like this, or a little set like this, or like this is one I just got for, painting oceans and mermaids and things like that. So it just depends. But if you're just looking for a workhorse set, this set here is really, really good. And it's got everything in it you need. You really don't need anything other than this and like a black fine liner, because it does have the solids and it has the metallics in it. So that's my opinion on that one. And, oh, I was going to, hang on. And Maylang is actually made by, let me see if it tells me on here. It's actually made by Paul Rubens. So anybody who watercolors will know that name. Paul Rubens makes really high-end fine paints as well. This is their entry point, watercolors, is right here. And you wouldn't know that it was by Paul Rubens unless you go to try and review one of these sets online and try to tag them. They don't show up. So you have to kind of read. And like I said, the same people make the same stuff. Paul Rubens makes this entry-level set, but of course they're going to market it under a different name because they don't want their fine artists to, because people who are selling $20,000, $40,000, $100,000 paintings, this isn't even on their radar, right? So, and Paul Rubens doesn't even want them to know that they have a lower entry point paint. Most companies do. They have different tiers of paints, but because fine artists and things like that, they get a little snooty sometimes and they want to only use the fine art, archival, whatever. But Paul Rubens is in business to make money, and so they want to appeal to everybody. So they just market different levels of paints under different names. Versus like if you go to Michael's or something, like Liquitex is going to say level 1, level 2, level 3 for their acrylic paints. You know, same thing with Golden. They're a little more accessible brands. So we're not talking acrylics today, but I'm just saying when you go there and you see that. So that's the stuff I wanted to tell you about watercolors. I store all of my stuff in these clear drawer sets by, why is this? I'm having an issue. This is not the thing. This is me. This is me having an issue. These are by Bright Room, and they are awesome because I can see through the drawers. Okay? And that's why my room looks so busy. I have to have my things stored in clear bins because of my ADHD. I've tried solid bins with little tags hanging off them that tell me what's in them. I can't find anything. So I have to be able to look around and go, I know that the spine of that book is purple. Where is it? I know that is in a clear package. Where is it? I know that's in a white box. Where is it? So that's how I work. So anyway, I hope this has been helpful for some of you. Would love your feedback. Let me know. Okay? Love and appreciate all of you. Hope you like and subscribe because I will be back in a separate video doing acrylic paints. Not today, but a different day. Because I thought, you know, maybe this is going to be helpful for somebody. And I love the feedback, letting me know if it is helpful for you. Okay? Okay. Be amazing.